Meanwhile, at the Tokyo Airport Dungeon Strategy Management Center, an officer informs their superior about some unusual activity detected in the dungeon. The radar picked up something strange just moments ago. Concerned, she asks, deciding to seek Director Takasu's opinion, she asks, "Where is he now?" The officer replies, "He went to greet an acquaintance." She immediately orders, "Call him back at once." Takasu, at that moment, is meeting with Serizawa. Takasu bluntly states, Serizawa responds, "Shouldn't you have learned by now? You can't survive in this world with only your sense of justice." Just then, an officer interrupts, saying, "Director Takasu, Inspector Iwasaki is calling for you." After Takasu leaves, Serizawa calls Taira. "How are the preparations?" Taira answers, "We're ready to go any time." Serizawa smirks and says, "The inspector hasn't caught on to our plans yet. Initiate the strategy. Move according to plan as soon as I give the signal. Understood?" Back in the deepest area of the hidden dungeon, Okida's system warns him that a monster above A rank is appearing. It's the dungeon boss, a Blitz dragon. This dragon has various Pokemon-like abilities. Okida feels a bit nervous. A dungeon rank exceeds A rank. His system warns him that the dragon is about to unleash an electrical discharge. An electric-type monster before, his speed and rescue skill allows him to dodge the attack just in time. The discharge hits the ground, burning it completely and leaving behind a lava-like substance. Okida is shocked by the dragon's power and cruelty. It didn't even care. Okida wonders, "With my current abilities, can I even defeat this monster?" Soon enough, the dragon's minions begin attacking him with their scale missiles. Despite their sheer numbers, Okida easily dodges all their attacks. The lightning strikes the ground. Dodging these attacks is causing his cards to grow at an incredible rate. Deciding it's time to go on the offensive, cards. However, this time, he also summons his jet black twin-headed dragon. The scene becomes chaotic. Okida now has two powerful behemoths on his side, each ranked higher than S-Class. The poor dungeon boss realizes its fate is sealed. Both summon creatures launch their attacks simultaneously, displaying an overwhelming showcase of power. As expected, no monster can survive such an onslaught, not even a boss-level thick-skinned dragon. The system confirms the subjugation of the dungeon boss. Okida finds it hard to believe what just happened. He even feels a hint of pity for the boss. Each of his cards possesses enough power to finish any monster in a single attack. Okida reflects. "I never gave this much thought before, but I really am the weakest hunter with the strongest cards in this world." His system informs him that the dungeon has been cleared. In 300 seconds, it will be absorbed by another dungeon. Okida thinks, "With this power I have, could it be that I can have unlimited burgers?" Around the Tokyo Airport Dungeon Strategy Management Center, Takasu asks, "What's wrong?" A lady responds, "There was some unusual activity picked up by the surveillance radar just now. As they check the data, they noticed a sudden surge in monster activity in a specific area. The energy level confirms it's at boss level." Both of them are extremely shocked. "There shouldn't have been a boss in that area," Takasu exclaims. Suddenly, the activity vanishes. All traces of the monsters disappear. They speculate that there might be a problem with the sensors. There's no way such a large number of monsters could disappear in an instant. It's probably a malfunction. device inside his head and asks about it. The high-ranking member explains, that's a distress signal device. If our enemy is stronger than expected, or we're completely annihilated, this device will send out an emergency signal for help. Okita thinks, there shouldn't be any need to use it, one of them said confidently. The resulting explosion causes widespread panic among the hunters. This boss seems angrier than usual, one high-ranking member observes, and its attacks are stronger than expected. Just what happened? Okita quickly realizes who is to blame. The high-ranker orders, front lines fall back. The shield barriers have already been penetrated. Suddenly, Okita senses the presence of an A-rank awakening. Two monster gate cards are activated. To the boss. It's Taira, Noguchi, and Hirayama. That is confused.
Да.
Why are the main members of Taira's West Wing here instead of at their assignment?
Свой.
Revelation stunned the high-ranking
Koliko
hunter.
imaš još kod
Taira
sebe?
confirmed.
Ima još
Yes,
dosta.
we received the rescue signal, so we rushed over to
To si
assist.
trebao izvađen
Panic
ili si
spread among the
karticu?
group as the
Kartice.
high-ranker asked, who sent
Platio
that
sam
signal?
samo 10
A
evra.
low-ranking member,
Kucao
embarrassed,
teško.
hesitantly admitted, it seems I accidentally activated it. I'm so sorry. Taira quickly stepped in, saying, there seems to be a misunderstanding. Why don't we reorganize and assess the situation first? Also, the boss monster's power is
Да,
far
было
greater
nešto
than we
na
expected.
od mesta bilo.
For now. But in reality, it was all part of their
Как Тимону
conspiracy.
рибу потрошил.
Okita thought, why didn't Nakamura and the others come here? Suddenly, his system informed him, the East Wing boss is retreating to the West Wing for a fight. This shocked Okita. If the main team of the West Wing is here, who's fighting in the East Wing? In other words, the only ones left fighting were Nakamura and his team. As soon as he realized this, Okita needed to save them. Furious, he thought, these bastards are trying. Okita soon reached the other side and saw the West Wing boss engaged in a ferocious fight. It was also an A-rank monster, brimming with fury. Difficulty. One team member Nakamura. The shield can no longer hold. What should we do now? Despite this, Nakamura remained resolute. Reinforcements would arrive. Even if it's just for Miho, he thought. I will never back down. Drawing his shield barrier card, Nakamura prepared for another assault. The dragon, a wind attribute monster, get out of the way! He recognized the voice as Okita Senpai's. Okita was preparing to draw his gate card, but before he could act, the dragon damaged gate card. In that moment, together, Okita drew his samurai gate card, and in a single furious strike, sliced the dragon in two. After defeating the boss, Okita fell into a deep depression. Fusing the hunt, the same company's team, the safety of their situations in the back, ugly thought. In launched a fury. I'm sorry you had to trouble yourself to teleport here, but your comrade is already dead. Summoning his twin-headed dragon, Okita unleashed a devastating attack, finishing the boss in one strike. The system confirmed. Dungeon cleared. All boss monsters have been defeated. Despite his victory, Okita felt consumed by guilt. This is my fault. Nakamura and the others died because of me. At the Dungeon Strategy Center, an officer officer reported on the situation. The planned battle turned into a disaster. The entire team in the East Wing has disappeared. Did they something? Also disappeared. Shocked, he muttered, "Impossible. Why?" With no Wakeners. One of them so quickly missed the eye. Even Tyra would. So how is the Okita? That's impossible. He was with the West team. There's nervously. Fred. The Tokyo Airport dungeon has been cleared, but at the cost of 7 Awakeners from the Clearwater Company. Reports highlighted that the tragedy resulted from human error and a failed strategy. Okita watched the news, his heart heavy with guilt and grief. Then his phone rang. It was his mother. She was worried after seeing the news on TV. Okita, still lost in despair, thought to himself, "If only I had realized sooner. If I can't protect vulnerable Awakeners like them, what's the point of having this power?" The identity of the person who cleared the dungeon remained unknown, and with no clear claimant, the reward went unclaimed. People speculated that the participating companies were not after the reward. Instead, they came to the raid to compare their strength, with little regard for the lower-ranked Awakeners. They believed the deaths were part of a sinister conspiracy. At Clearwater Company headquarters, Serizawa was furious. How did everything go so wrong? The managing director stormed in, glaring at him. "You've completely screwed up this time, Serizawa. I thought your team would successfully conquer the dungeon, but not only did you fail, we lost 7 of our Awakeners. 7. Precious members of our province," Serizawa sneered. "They were just low-level hunters." The managing director slammed his fist. "Just low-level hunters? Director Serizawa, thanks to you, the entire company is in an uproar. How did you ever deserve your promotion? And don't think I've forgotten about your misuse of company funds. I let it slide before because of your previous achievements. But now, consider your position in this company precarious." Serizawa seethed with anger. Didn't he benefit from my schemes too? His frustration grew when he received a text from the chairman of the Government Awakeners Board informing him that their ties were now severed. More connections and allies abandoned him, cutting off support one by one. Serizawa, fuming, resolved, "If I want to clean up this mess, I need to find the hunter who killed the bosses." Elsewhere, rain poured as Okita walked despondently through the streets. Yuriko noticed him and rushed over. "I'm glad I found you. I couldn't get much information about the Tokyo Airport. The weight of the situation. As Okita turned to leave, she called after him, "How did this happen?" But Okita didn't respond. He walked away without a word. Yuriko stood there, heartbroken, thinking of Nagamura. At the funeral, family members of the fallen Awakeners gathered for their burial rituals. Clerks from various agencies were present, and among them, still forced. He remembered the halo ring to debilitate growth. Why me? Why did I, the weakest F-rank hunter, receive this power? Was it because I chose to be patient? Because I was special? He thought about his own past when he, too, had been bullied in power. Much like the weaker Awakeners he now sought to protect. That's right, he whispered to himself. I was chosen to represent them. I am the most powerful, and it's my duty to help those who have no power. He moved with determination. Okita declared, "No more victims. I can't hesitate any longer." Yuriko noticed him and tried to stop him, but he had already distanced himself from her, both physically and emotionally. Meanwhile, officers attending the funeral discussed the absence of Serizawa, who hadn't even bothered to pay respects to his fallen subordinates. The director's attention shifted to Okita. Checking his records, there's a chance he's connected to Serizawa. I'm certain Serizawa is behind this incident. This time, we'll catch him. As Yuriko checked out Yuriko, she received a call from the officers she had met at the funeral. Them, Serizawa says, "How do you plan to explain this situation? Isn't it shameful that so many A-rank awakeners failed to come?" Are you saying this is my fault? Fine. Prove it. I'll give you 5 days. If you can't deliver results that convince me, you're fired. We should go back and apologize to the director now. It's pointless. The director isn't someone you can reason with. If we want to survive, we need to find the mana crystals from the boss monsters. They're still unaccounted for. Tyra thought about the consequences of failing. If they were fired, boss monsters, and the only option was to with them. Serizawa nodded. Kito fastly cleared the dungeon. Was Tyra. Okita asked bluntly, "Why are you here?" Tyra hesitated before replying. "I found your location through the dungeon commune." Okita immediately understood. "So, it's him. What do you want?" Tyra, visibly anxious, suddenly knelt and bowed before him. "Please, Okita, just one of the boss monster's mana stones from the Tokyo airport dungeon. Can you give it to me? I'm willing to pay anything for it." "How about I trade all my possessions with you?" Okita angrily asked. "What are you talking about?" Taira replies, "As far as I know, only you could have defeated the boss, and you must have the mana crystal, right?" Furious, Okita shouted, "Even if it's in my hands, I will never give it to you." It belonged to Nakamura and the others who died in that battle. Taira smirked, confirming his suspicion that Okita indeed had the mana crystal. He said, "I feel sorry about Nakamura and the others too. But that's something Director Serizawa ordered us to do." Okita's expression darkened as he asked, "What do you mean?" Taira tried to gain his trust, placing his card on the ground and saying, "I'll tell you everything. Just listen." However, his action was part of a trap. The gesture served as a signal to his team waiting nearby. They watched from a distance as ready to fire a sniper's cards into the air. Noguchi cheered. "Right on target?" Simultaneously, Taira pointed a gun at Okita's head and demanded instant fear, sweat pouring down his face. He hadn't even seen Okita move. Okita reminded him coldly, "I warned you before. If you dare to show murderous intent toward me, I'll crush you with all my strength." Taira stammered, unable to understand how Okita still had his ability, despite his cards being destroyed. In desperation, Okita kicked him away and said, "Unlike you, I will never force the weak or the old to sacrifice for me." Act like an awakened person again. Disappear from my sight. Bye. Woke up. confused by the commotion. Now Okita understood that Serizawa was behind everything. Meanwhile, the lady officer received information that the main team of Clearwater had entered this C-rank dungeon. Soon after, they all came running out in a panic. Noguchi and Hariyama tried to stop Taira. Back at Clearwater Company, Taira was packing his belongings. Lied. I'm resigning. Whether you fire me or not doesn't matter. I know you're invincible, and that applies to you alone. I won't risk my life working for you anymore. Taira said, rest assured, I won't tell anyone about the harm I've done under your orders. Serizawa smirked and said, I don't keep people who want to leave. Do whatever you want. As Taira left, his subordinates asked, are you really resigning? Taira replied, I don't even consider myself an awakener anymore. Shortly after, an assassin appeared behind Serizawa and remarked, a man who values his life too much will eventually betray. By guilt after being criticized for the deaths of 7 people in the Tokyo airport dungeon. The employees of Clearwater were shocked. Back. He thought to himself, the experts stated the cause of death was falling from a height, causing the entire body to be shattered. We believe he fell from here. As an A-rank awakener, the director noticed traces of magic. He speculated that from this position, someone could have used a card to launch a sneak attack from behind. Pointing to the traces, he said to the officer, it seems the tendency card was used last night. It's illegal to use a gate card outside of a dungeon. This is clearly the work of an assassin. The director thought to himself, Taira was Serizawa's subordinate. Could this be to cover up the failure of the dungeon strategy? Or did Serizawa kill someone who had knowledge of his secrets? Too many awakeners had died around Clearwater, raising suspicion. A lady officer approached the director and said, I actually met Taira a few days ago when I was investigating the dungeon. He looked terrified and mentioned something about Okita. The director was surprised. The same thoroughly. First, list all possible witnesses and locate Okita to understand the situation. Meanwhile, Okita was in dungeon. He thought, why did Serizawa kill Taira? Could it be because he had the mana crystal from me? Or is it because Taira knew Serizawa's secrets? Suddenly, the lady officer approached him. She introduced herself as an inspector from the Party Awakener Supervisory Commission and asked, you know Taira from Clearwater, right? Okita's system confirmed that she was telling the truth. He noticed that 2 A-rank and 3 B-rank awakeners surrounded him. Okita asked, do you want to interrogate me in a... He replied, this is a legitimate investigation. You're suspected of murder. Please put your cards down. Okita grew furious and retorted, don't move! But Okita ignored her. The officer drew her gate card. Okita shouted, don't use your gate card! But it was too late. The monster launched an attack on Okita. The director scolded her. Why did you launch a gate card still on the suspect without provocation? She apologized. apologized and asked for legitimate investigation. He drew his samurai gate card and used its skill to defeat the lady officer's card in a single strike. The wall managed to block Okita's initial attack, but it was short-lived. The samurai's katana began cracking the massive shield. The director was shocked. My defense is supposed to be so strong that no one can penetrate it, yet now it's being cut like a piece of paper. Suddenly, Yuriko shouted, "Okita!" and said to the director, "Okita is not a murderer. Stop attacking him." The director replied, "Even if you say so, I still need to conduct my investigation." Yuriko countered, "You found traces of magic at the crime scene, right? The same as Okita's card magic?" How do you know that? They asked. She smiled confidently and replied, "Clearwater Company has access to all kinds of information. Even Okita was shocked by her. However, when she turned toward him, he grew nervous. Yuriko said, "You found a rare card. Okita stammered, 'Sorry, I lied to you before.' Okita then turned to the director and said, 'There's no reason for me to take the risk of breaking into his home.'" The director nodded thoughtfully and said, "That's true. The magic detected at the crime scene was from a skill-type card, while the cards you use are summoning type." He then bowed slightly and said, "I apologize, Okita. I mistook you for a murderer." Yuriko asked Okita to forgive the director. Surprised both Yuriko and the director. The director can help with the incident. A rampage caused by the card. But the truth is different. The card ended up after the explosion, but I suspect it was taken by the person who orchestrated the entire incident. Serizawa? The director nodded. Yes. At that time, Serizawa was someone who funded our student team and helped us in many ways. He worked at Clearwater. Explosion out of nowhere. After the explosion, Serizawa vanished right in front of our eyes. Not long after that incident, Serizawa rose to prominence in Clearwater, becoming a powerful figure within the company. I'm certain he used the F-rank card from our side to rank. Okita clenched his fists in anger. Serizawa used the student card as a stepping stone to rise to power. Once, the director added, "But I have no proof against him." Yuriko interjected. "Since I joined the company, I've never seen Serizawa." You do if Serizawa really has that S-rank card. The director looked grim but determined. "If we can expose the truth, we'll take him down no matter the cost." Okita added, "The last time I met Taira in the dungeon, Okita as the murderer was deliberately leaked, and the investigation by the Office of Supervision was quickly concluded. This forced Okita to become nervous and eventually surrender." Serizawa smirks and says, Too bad for these young people with bright futures. Their lives are over. The assassin adds, there's also some concerning news. It seems Taira gave something to Okita. Serizawa is shocked. Could it be that Okita got the mana crystal from Taira? Did Taira possess the mana crystal all along? He grits his teeth. It seems I killed him too early. The assassin continues. It's still unclear whether Taira had the mana crystal or not. However, if Okita did get the crystal from him, allowing the police to continue their investigation could be very dangerous. Serizawa replies, we must find a way to get close to Okita. Okuda, can you handle this? Okuda smirks confidently. Okita's system alerts him. 3 people are approaching. The reporters call out, you're Mr. Okita Hikaru, right? As soon as his system identifies them as reporters, they say, can we have a moment for an interview? But before they can finish, Okita takes off running. The reporters chase him with cameras and microphones. Okita turns into a narrow alleyway where no one is around, activates his ability enhancement card, and escapes. The reporters are stunned. Even after we surrounded him from all sides, he still managed to escape without leaving a trace. They begin searching frantically, competing with each other for the scoop, as interviewing Okita. Although it's illegal to use cards outside the dungeon, these reporters are exploiting legal loopholes themselves. I had no other choice. Go and director devised a plan. They aim to lower Serizawa's guard and, at the right moment, expose his conspiracy. As part of the plan, the Office of Internal Oversight and Supervision announced Okita as the prime suspect in Taira's murder. They also spread false news that Taira had acquired the mana crystal from the Tokyo airport dungeon, laying a trap to lure Serizawa. Back in the present, Okita mutters, but these reporters are such a pain. As expected, some reporters are waiting outside his house. Looks like I can't go home for now, he sighs. Then his phone rings. It's his mom. What have you done? She yells. Calm down, Mom. Okita tries to reassure her. Suddenly, his sister shouts, brother, why is our house surrounded by so many reporters? Okita thinks, not even celebrities get this kind of attention. He replies, I really didn't do anything. Don't worry, this will be over soon. After ending the call, Okita feels guilty. He's being forced into this mess. Suddenly, someone approaches him from behind and says, Architect Smart. He asks, how can Serizawa help me? Okuda throws a letter at him and says, come to the place mentioned in the letter at the specified time. Director Serizawa will be waiting for you in the dungeon. Before Okita's system can detect him, Okuda disappears. Observing the man's abilities, Okita concludes that Serizawa must be incredibly strong. He decides to meet him in the dungeon later that night. The dungeon is a C-rank level formed within an abandoned raw material manufacturing building. Inside, we see 2 B-rank awakeners and Okuda, an A-rank awakener, alongside Serizawa. All 3 men are professional assassins. They're battling mud-type monsters, low-level D-rank creatures. Perhaps they are using them for training. Okuda orders his subordinates to clear all the monsters. One of them summons a gate card named Hide Arrow, a B-rank dark attribute card. He fires arrows at the mud creatures, but the arrows pass through their bodies without killing them. Shocked, the B-rank awakener exclaims, these creatures can resurrect. Okuda, annoyed, orders him to step aside, criticizing his indiscriminate use of cards. Okuda then summons a twin blade card, another dark attribute card, but of A rank. With precision, he swiftly chops down the cores of the mud monsters, defeating them completely. Their weakness is their core. Unless the core is destroyed, they'll keep resurrecting, Okuda explains. Serizawa applauds him, saying, with you here, being in a dungeon feels like a stroll. Okuda responds, We chose to meet Okita here because no one will find it strange for an awakened person to meet someone in a dungeon. Even if an inspector stumbles upon us, it can be dismissed as coincidence. Their subordinates report. All the monsters have been eliminated. They were no match for us. Serizawa approaches them and smirks. You're putting in so much effort, but isn't that guy Okita faster than all of you? The subordinate, insulted, retorts, are you mocking us? You may be our employer, but you should watch your words. They add, Mr. Okuda, we obeyed your orders, but perhaps we should let Serizawa witness the strength of our organization. Okuda sternly commands them to stand down, but Serizawa interjects, it's fine, Okuda. I'm not skilled at dealing with small fry. Furious, the two B-rank awakeners summon their gate card. Even if you're the director of the Clearwater Company, your position means nothing in a he says, summoning his gate card, disarmament, an S-rank card. It shatters their weapons effortlessly. The B-rank awakeners are stunned by Serizawa's overwhelming power. Okuda explains, it's pointless. No matter how many of you join forces, you can't avoid him isn't because of his position at Clearwater, but because of his raw power. If you understand, then behave yourselves. The subordinate submission. Okuda turns to Serizawa and says, please forgive their rudeness. Serizawa used my true strength to deal with small fries, which shows my own immaturity. The question now is, will that guy Okita show up here tonight? Meanwhile, in the same dungeon, Okita encounters mud monsters. This time, he summons a different card. A card named Gale Fang. He commands it to attack the monster. The wolf quickly shatters the creatures, but as expected, the cores are not destroyed, and the monsters repeatedly. After observing them, Okita realizes these monsters have a core. The only way to defeat them is to destroy their core. He commands his wolf to target the core. And meet him in the dungeon. Takasu replied, if that's the case, I'll prepare a team to monitor him. But Okita refused. I don't want Serizawa to go on the defensive. Besides, he has a strong A-rank awakener under his command. Takasu asked, isn't that man an employee of the water company? I've never seen him in the company. Judging by his actions and demeanor, he seems like an assassin. His strength shouldn't be underestimated. Takasu decided to investigate the man's background further. He also warned Okita, don't use the samurai gate card. If Serizawa sees you using that card in the dungeon, he'll definitely become more cautious. He then asked, do you need me to help you find a suitable card for you? As Okita prepared to leave, Takasu added, I don't know if Serizawa has set any traps, so be careful. Although I shouldn't ask this of you, I hope you can gather enough evidence to help us arrest him. While Okita's initial plan was to use the news about the mana crystal to lure Serizawa out, the fact that Serizawa had chosen a dungeon as the meeting place indicated he was already on guard. Okita finally defeated all the mud monsters. Just as he caught his breath, His system notified him that multiple awakeners were approaching, Serizawa and his team. His system identified the A-rank awakener he had seen earlier, but Okita also knew Serizawa was stronger. Yet, for some reason, Serizawa's stats remained unclear. After a moment, the system successfully analyzed Serizawa and revealed the blurred information. Serizawa was an S-rank awakener and wielded an S-rank card named Disarmament. Realizing this, Okita grew nervous. This was his first encounter with an S-rank awakener. Moreover, it confirmed Takasu's suspicion. The gate card had indeed been stolen by Serizawa. Serizawa greeted him with a disarming smile. Okita, don't be so nervous. These are my personally hired awakeners. Okita analyzed their stats and confirmed his suspicion. They were assassins. His gaze landed on one of the B-rank awakeners holding Taira's card. This confirmed it, he thought. These people are Taira's killers, and Serizawa won't let go of any high-ranking card. Noticing Okita's silence, Serizawa asked, "What's wrong? Do you have something to say?" Okita replied, "Since all of you were already here, why didn't you help me? I was nearly killed by the monsters." He was trying to maintain the facade of being an S-rank awakener. "Sorry about that, but since you're still speaking so well, it doesn't seem like a big deal, right?" Signaled Okuda and asked, "What do you think about this guy, Okita?" Okuda responded entered the dungeon alone as an F-rank awakener, which is admirable. The card he's using is probably D-rank at most, so there's no need to guard against him. The real concern is whether someone is following him. That's suspicious and requires caution. Serizawa nodded and turned back to Okita. "All right, Okita. help me. His system shows a notification. Next, Serizawa will act as if he's reluctant. He's pretending hard. Okita thinks, don't act like a professional actor. Serizawa sighs dramatically. Okay, it's a big risk though. Let's deal with the rare mana stone. I can use my power to hide its origin. If we do this, I believe the suspicion on you will be lifted. Inside, Serizawa is already planning. Once I get the mana stone, my reputation will skyrocket. Okita asks, are you telling the truth? Can I trust you? Though he knows Serizawa is human, Okita plays along. In this way, Serizawa will fall into his trap. Of course, Serizawa says. Now, where is the mana stone? Okita hesitates. I can't say yet because I can't guarantee you won't inform Inspector Nakasu. Serizawa nods. You're quite reasonable, Okita says. I'll decide where to deliver the mana crystal. You can decide the time. Their deal is finally settled, and Serizawa begins to leave. However, his guards whisper among themselves. One of the B-rankers summons a card. Is completely unable to cope with the attack. Maybe I'm too worried. When they let their guard down, Okita decides to push the enemy further. He covers his roof and shouts, what is he doing? Confirming the news about the magic stone, I want to avoid using force. Wait patiently until I contact you. As Okuda and Serizawa leave, one of the men mutters, Serizawa, he's so rude to us. It really irritates me. The frustration continues. Even though he obtained an A-rank card, the fact that he's not allowed to use it in front of Okita after killing Taira makes it worse. I can't bear this anymore. The other man interjects. Where are you going? Our orders are important. Wait. The irritated man dismisses it. I'll just find someone to use this on. It doesn't matter who it is. If I don't torture and kill a low-level partner, government-protected area, sensitive operation. Director Takatsu, having used his authority, prepared a secure room for a... Serizawa's companions aren't following you, right? enough to arrest him. What if he's caught committing a crime? Okita asks. Serizawa kills anyone who's inconvenient for him, whether it's Miss Yuriko's brother or Taira. After I hand over the magic stone, he'll definitely try to kill me for getting in his way. Takasu nods grimly. It's possible. There are too many unnatural deaths to anticipate. Up until now, I haven't been able to test it. One detected in the act of attacking me. A female officer. Dungeon of my choosing, so I need to find a suitable one. I begin researching potential dungeons for him. Meanwhile, Okita adds, I'm a little concerned about the hired awakeners Serizawa has with him. There are 3 in total. Upon learning their past and realizing they are now accompanying Serizawa. Takasu says, the most dangerous situation for you will be when you hand over the mana crystal to Serizawa. You must carefully choose the dungeon. Their words scare Noguchi. Suddenly, Hirayama calls out to him, and he becomes even more frightened. Noguchi asks, she cannot reveal the truth. While everyone else is struggling, I've
Ušetrite ďaka skutočný zľavám na Eureke. Vyberajte múdro, vyberajte s láskou, vyberajte úžasne.
Awaken to a world of wonder in Final Fantasy XIV Online.
Group of The lady officer leads the team, and together they eliminate all the spiders. Still far behind you. She then excitedly asks, "Where did you get that card? Could it be a legendary S-rank card?" Before Okita can deny it, by Aquasphere. The assassin sneers. What a painful sound. Sure enough, it gives me great pleasure. Anything. The Iran. Another awakener. Mind your own business, he snarls. Okita recognizes the assassin. It's Tanaka, one of Serizawa's men. Tanaka demands, "Who are you, and how did you save this guy so quickly?" Okita begins to strategize, knowing he must carefully conceal his true identity. Tanaka scoffs. "Forget about it. I don't care who you are. Prepare to die." Okita realizes that if he dodges the attack, the surviving awakener will be hit instead. Just in time, the officers arrive. The lady officer orders, "Tanaka, surrender yourself." Tanaka is shocked. "How do you know my name?" The lady officer replies, "So, your death in the accident was fake? We are inspectors from the Awakener Supervisory Office. Not only are you an escaped prisoner, but you've committed another crime. You're under arrest." Furious, Tanaka summons his A-rank gate card. The lady officer counters by summoning her own A-rank gate card, but Tanaka's water element card has an advantage over her air element card. Okita observes. This guy uses the water meter card even more skillfully than Tyler. Tanaka fumes. "After your last attack, your card needs time to prepare its next move." He launches his attack, and the lady officer realizes it's too late to use her next skill. A flood engulfs the dungeon, sweeping away all the officers. Amazingly, this D-rank awakener has defeated the entire team. Tanaka laughs. "As expected from inspectors, you were easier to kill than I thought." He throws a bomb toward them. Okita's system warns him. Military wire bomb detected. The bomb releases multiple laser-like wires that pierce through the officers, trapping them. Tanaka laughs. "Like bugs caught in a spider's web. This bomb is perfect for this dungeon. These wires are made of military-grade polymer material. Escape is impossible unless you sever your own body." Tanaka notices Okita and says, "Okita, are you the Lady Kimura?" Tanaka. "Now." Tanaka with "That's not the wolf card I saw before." Swiftly, Okita frees the trapped officers. Tanaka, still in disbelief, asks, "How did you become this strong?" The lady officer observes in awe. Does Okita have another skill? Isn't his card the samurai card? Seeing himself cornered, Tanaka the first life he has ever taken. With grim determination, Okita resolves, "If I want to protect the weak, I must no longer hesitate." Scene shifts to Serizawa in a high-end Tanaka live location has disappeared. He wonders, cancer failure, or did he overdose on drugs? Deciding to investigate immediately, Okuda informed Serizawa, I need to leave. Something urgent has come up. Who exactly are you? Okuda doesn't respond, visibly distressed. The lady asks, what's wrong? Okuda replies, even though Tanaka was a prisoner, I still killed him. I did it to protect everyone, but I can't take the guilt of taking someone's life. The lady says, what are you talking about? It's you who protected all of us. I've investigated Tanaka's record before. He was a madman who killed innocent people for his own pleasure. If it weren't for you, someone among us might not be alive right now. You should not reprimand yourself for your actions. If needed, all the censors here can attest to your innocence. Now that Tanaka is dead, the dynamic before Serizawa adjusts the terms of the negotiation, you should contact him as soon as possible. Remember, for you too. Okita and the officers decided to leave the dungeon quickly, as they didn't want to leave any trace for Serizawa. After exiting, they used the authority of the Awakener Supervision Office to modify the dungeon entry record, making it appear as if it were a randomly discovered dungeon. Okita then informed Serizawa of the dungeon's location. Takashi asked, Okita, are you really going to hand over the mana crystal to Serizawa? If nothing happens, his plan will fail. In that case, we'll have to keep failing him and think of other strategies. Okita assured him, Serizawa will definitely take action, but the problem is he will likely use the dismantle card, which will disable our ability to attack. The card has a 10-meter range and disables all card skills within that radius. Takashi nodded grimly. We'll provide support from a location 20 meters away. During this time, you'll be in great danger. Such a matter to Director Takasu. As a member of the Government Awakener Supervision Office, I can't ignore this, so I'll investigate it later myself. What if I become a bad guy? Someone even worse than him? She flushed again and replied firmly, if that happens, I'll definitely arrest you myself. At the same D-level dungeon, Okuda observed the scene and muttered, unexpectedly, the trading location chosen by Okita turns out to be the maze where Tanaka disappeared. Is this a coincidence? He and his men reached the spot where Tanaka was left. The ground showed signs of a fierce battle, with large craters and traces of blood. Okuda knelt down to examine the area and thought, what kind of gate card could cause such destruction? He concluded, this level of devastation Stone trade arrived. Takasu and some they took up their designated positions, setting up an encirclement. Serizawa's eyes lit up with excitement. This is it! The mana crystal dropped by the boss monster from the Tokyo Airport dungeon. Serizawa gets excited upon seeing the mana crystal. I'll climb even higher than before. Serizawa grins and says, "The deal is established. Then, Okita, you're no longer of any use to me. Disappear here." Okita's system warns him. Serizawa is about to issue an order to eliminate him. The suddenness of this shocked Okita. Although he had expected betrayal, he hadn't anticipated it to happen so soon. Okita asked, "What's going on, Serizawa?" Serizawa sneered. "That's my line, Okita. What's your intention in letting infectors hide here?" Okita and Takasu. Disarmament. Okita is startled as the card activates its skill, destroying all other card weapons. Even the mana guns become useless. To their surprise, the card's effect extends beyond the supposed 10-meter range. Takasu is shocked and murmurs, "Could it be that this card has hidden abilities?" Suddenly, Okuda appears behind Takasu. He tries total annihilation? What happened in this dungeon? Inside the dungeon, every officer is ensnared like flies in a spider web. Okita hadn't expected such a dire situation. All the officers were in bad shape. Takasu by the leg. Okita, Serizawa to address. Indeed, you and that boy were died in that explosion. For their noble sacrifices, I'll continue to rise higher. That's how I pay tribute to them. They helped me reach the top of the industry pyramid. Don't you think that's poetic? Okita thinks to himself. This man's sense of logic and justice is utterly distorted. Takasu, seething with rage, asks, "Just how many people have you killed?" Serizawa shrugs nonchalantly. "Who knows? I'm very forgetful." Fueled by anger, Takasu charges at Serizawa, but Okuda intervened. Serizawa, warning them of potential. "It was my mistake." Serizawa taunts them. What a pity. Within the effect range of this card, whether it's a knife or a gun, any weapon not authorized by me will corrupt into useless scraps. Over the past 8 years, I've refined every method to fully utilize this card's potential. You thought your strategy of capturing me would succeed? It was nothing more than suicide. Okita steps forward, preparing to summon his Wolfgate card. Serizawa recognizes it immediately and sneers. "Ah, the Wolf card. It doesn't rely on weapons, so it's unaffected by disarmament. But do you truly believe that a mere B-rank card can defeat me? Look around. There are many B and A rank against that." Serizawa's by me. One you killed Tyra, and survival of the world works. All I did was give orders. My loyal assassins executed them. If you want to hate someone, hate them. They're the ones who did the killing. One of the assassins silently clenches his fist, thinking, "What a scumbag." yourself. I know this is a private operation. It's not recorded in any government record. You undertook this mission without special permission. No one will come looking for you. And besides, we won't leave any traces. It'll look like the supervision team entered the dungeon to arrest Okita, the suspect. That's the story everyone will believe. Okita's system suddenly changed. Why do you think if someone forward just in case pigeon boss? Just what is he planning? Okuda wonders. As the spider boss lunges toward Okita, he calmly pulls out a gate card. This surprises the assassins, who begin to suspect the earlier card might have been a fake. Okita activates the samurai card, summoning a powerful samurai that slices through the spider as though it were a mere piece of wood. Okuda is astonished by its overwhelming power. I never expected to witness a card this strong, he thinks. Serizawa, breaking into a nervous sweat, quickly activates his card skill, shattering the samurai's katana. He laughs arrogantly, completely, while Serizawa, where did you get? Okita smirks and retorts. Serizawa, I told you my turn isn't over yet. Facing a dragon. Obliterates his palm. Serizawa screams in agony. What a pity, Serizawa. My twin-headed dragon has no weapons for you to destroy. The dragon itself is the ultimate weapon. Serizawa, now terrified, orders his assassins to attack. They launch a series of desperate, ineffective strikes, unable to even penetrate the dragon's first barrier. One by one, they give up, realizing their efforts are futile. Infuriated, the assassins shift their focus to Okita, but he effortlessly evades their attack, using the abilities of other cards. What's going on? How is he so fast? One of the assassins exclaims. Okuda steps in, summoning his twin sword card, known for its unparalleled speed. Despite using combat-enhancing skills, Okuda is still unable to land a blow on Okita. How is he this fast? Okuda wonders, feeling completely outmatched. After showcasing his dominance, Okita decides to end the battle. He commands the dragon, annihilate them all. With a single devastating turning his murderous gaze toward Serizawa, Okita orders the dragon to finish him. Serizawa begins to sweat profusely, trembling with fear. Please don't kill me, he says. But Okita shows no mercy. As the dust settles, Okita's system informs him the dungeon will transform back into a building soon. The next day, news reports reveal details of the incident. The government supervisory office has confirmed the murder of A-rank awakener Taira. The investigation uncovers that the mastermind behind the crime was Serizawa, the director of the Clearwater Company. Serizawa orchestrated Taira's death through assassins and committed numerous other crimes. During his attempted arrest, Serizawa resisted and attacked the infected. In the ensuing looks out the window and adds, I joined the Awakener's office for revenge. Now I can finally move on without regret. Takasu says, I want to quit this job now. This shocks Iwasaki. Okita interjects, if you want to quit, it's your choice. But can you really ignore such a suspicious man? He is clearly talking about himself. I single-handedly wiped out an entire Elite Awakening team with an S-rank card. Would the officers of supervision really leave such a dangerous man alone? Don't you think I need someone capable to keep an eye on me? Both officers are touched by his words. Regaining his composure, Takasu responds, I understand. I just felt a little intimidated. Beginning, and with unlimited cards, will never end. The investigation into Serizawa's crimes unveiled the incident. Clearwater Company's shares fell by about 30%. Meanwhile, competing companies seized the opportunity to expand their businesses. This scandal had a massive impact on the industry. The criminal alliance remains a mystery, its whereabouts unknown. Those who had faked their deaths were working for the organization. The investigation noted that Clearwater Company used low-ranking employees as mere shields to protect high rankers. Turning to Okita, Takasu says, if I hadn't witnessed your strength with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. But I won't report this to the higher-ups. He then orders Iwasaki to for breakfast. Though his lack of cooking skills makes pancakes a challenge. He thinks, wouldn't it be great if there were a card skill to perfectly flip an egg or pancake? Okita spends his day searching for these cards and testing their ability. However, he quickly runs out of mana, realizing he isn't yet capable of handling multiple cards effectively. Determined to improve, he heads out for practical training. He summons his Bullet Bonanza magic bullet skill and clears a dungeon with precision. He practices continuously to master the card. Okita's record of clearing dungeons begins to attract attention. Despite being ranked S-, he has completed numerous dungeons in a short period. Rumors spread, suggesting Okita might have been a former Clearwater employee involved in questionable operations. Yuriko overhears these rumors and frequently urges Okita to retest his level. Okita always refuses, but she eventually forces him, saying, it's outrageous for someone to use such high-ranking cards while being labeled the weakest hunter. After retesting, the result is shocking. His rank remains S-. Yuriko is baffled. In another scene, Yuriko is shown working diligently at Clearwater Company, recruiting new members. She is skilled at analyzing cards and managing dungeon records, though her strict demeanor and nurturing attitude make her treat everyone like younger siblings. At one point, she scolds Takasu for being too skinny for an inspection. Even Iwasaki finds Yuriko intimidating. Then, the focus shifts to Takasu, who is popular among women, especially after an episode him as an inspector. Awakeners who are using well-coordinated strategies to fight. Everything seems to be going fine, with Okita quietly observing from a distance. It appears he's there to step in if things go wrong. Suddenly, Okita's system detects a sharp drop in magic levels. He is surprised to find that the C-rank Awakeners have suddenly dropped to D rank, while the D rank members have fallen to E rank and lost consciousness. As he tries to analyze the situation, his system alerts him that the boss monster is preparing to launch. Okita decides to intervene. As the boss monster unleashes his powerful water-type attack, Okita summons a new card, a Spearman. Unlike his samurai card, this one is ice-type. As expected, Okita easily defeats the D-rank monster. He approaches the Awakeners and asks, "Are you all okay?" One of the conscious members, still wary, asks, "Who are you?" Okita replies, "Don't worry, I'm like you all, a free Awakener." Okita then inquires, "What happened here? Why did your companion's rank suddenly drop during the battle?" The man hesitates and tries to thinks to himself, "So this is the infamous X that pushes people beyond their limits?"